We're going to talk about what we're seeing right now in the games market, what's investable, and what's kick it off there, because I don't have to tell you guys that investment in games has slowed down in the last couple of years, in parallel with kind of reduction in overall revenue and screen time in games overall. I happen to think that there are a lot of investable opportunities in games at this moment, in part because of that. But I want to know what you guys are seeing. What games, what genres, what platforms, what technologies are investable in games right now. You can pick who goes first.
You're the investor, or I'm going to go first.
I may be the investor, but you're the expert.
Oh, yeah. Really? Okay. No, but I mean, definitely investing has slowed down because we're seeing that multiples are different than they were, 2-3 years ago. Which means that the growth potential of a company is just lower because we're seeing slowdown in user acquisition, monetization, all that kind of stuff. But that doesn't mean that if you have a good game, it'll work. So
yeah,
I think kind of my response to what you said is like, so what? Just keep going. Just keep going.
Yeah, but does anything stand out for you right now? Like, what is your company focused on from a development strategy perspective? What are you?
Okay, so we have a leading puzzle game. Our leading game is a casual puzzle game. We have a Netflix game. But the free-to-play model on our main game Merge-In is kind of what fuels the company. So what are we trying to do? Lower costs using AI, improving live ops, again, using new tech that's coming up. I mean, I don't want to say same old, but the thing is, you need to have a business that works, and if we can't get a 4x multiple or a 6x multiple when we're exiting, we're gonna wait it out until that's something that our investors are happy with.
So it's business fundamentals, basically.
I mean, yeah, ecosystem.
Yeah. Amit, where are you focused from an investment perspective right now? Is it what types of companies, sizes are you looking for?
I think the crux of the entire, selection of any business would be more to do with how scalable the model is, how profitable it is likely to be, and the passion of the founders who basically are behind, the pitch deck that they are getting across. You might be passionate, but if you don't have the right set of team and the right dream, it's easy to get money, but it's even easier to burn it faster. Mm-hmm. And yes. Remember that basically at the end of the day, the investor is also a smart person coming into you. So he is always one up in terms of understanding whether things will go right, or the guy is just wanting to take us for a ride with the investment part of it.
So are you looking for creators to come to you more focused on expressing the dream, the product, or do you want them going in depth on business model and business fundamentals, and how's the studio going to get and stay profitable?
So the primary aspect is basically people bet on people, always. So that's the first step. Eventually then what happens is then you look at how the model is looking to be scalable. I was there in most of the previous sessions over here. One common thing is that you really need your business plan in place. One of my earlier speakers mentioned that it's very easy to basically show it in a deck, but how passionate you have to bring it about is what matters, rather than just giving a pitch deck and just going about with an elevated pitch as such.
Oh, yeah.
So I believe it's a mix of many things. And sometimes the gut also takes over in terms of whether the model is likely to be scalable or no. I mean, at foresight you can always feel that things will be good, but you also have to be realistic in life.
Right. So in this room today, we've been talking a lot about ecosystem development and how Sacar Velo can foster that, can lift up their tech companies and their game development scene here. I know that ecosystem development is something you're passionate about, Arsney. What's your experience with that, especially since you've worked with teams being dispersed all over the world? What does that kind of ecosystem focus mean for you?
Yes. Okay. I'm not checking my Instagram. These are my notes.
You can check your Instagram.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll check it later. No. So okay. So for me, ecosystem is a couple things, right? It's about kind of internals. So internal ecosystem, business ecosystem in the company. But there's also a couple externals, and I'll just do it like a brief one because we're gonna dig into it a bit later. But like internally in the business, it's like, look, you just got a bunch of money, you gotta spend it correctly. You gotta think about it. So build those processes before it happens, and we can talk about more specifically.
When you say those processes, you mean just internal cash management? You
just like get an HR person. Because you have human beings that work for you.
Yeah.
And they're not going to want to just work nonstop. Like, I like to work nonstop until I die. But not everyone wants to do that. Some people want to go home at some point. This kind of thing. And we'll dig into it a bit more. But kind of, what's the external thing? So, your investors, they're not really part of the business. They're on the outside. What are their motivations? So investors usually like to make money. Think about that. And then kind of like, is there a community that you can hire from? Is there a community of peers, not employees, your peers, other CEOs that you can talk to? So I've actually started doing that very recently. I have a small group of people that, we have our secret chat. We can't show what we're writing to anyone else. But that's very helpful. These are people that are on your level. That's kind of what ecosystem means to me. So internal, and then a couple external things. For founders to understand that, hey, when you're a founder, you're not a normal human. Or like, you're a slightly different human than other humans.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think that we tend to romanticize, and founders themselves tend to romanticize this idea of the lone wolf, the solo creator, right? We got our business luminaries and heroes, but it's kind of a myth, isn't it, Amit? I mean, has that been your experience?
So, I mean, it's good to fantasize that you'll be able to do everything by yourself. But as you rightly mentioned, essentially you need the right mindset of people to basically go about, setting up, a good culture and a good team. Only then you can survive. At the end of the day, my question to you is how many people that you know of who have by themselves built, a world-class organization? I have only on my fingertips, and some of them are known. Steve Jobs, for once, when he started off with it. How many such people that you know in as many industries who are able to build them by themselves? So it's basically not too easy, and basically there is a key man risk as well. You build up something, you scale it up, and then there is nobody to take it forward.
Right.
That's the end of the story.
Yeah. From an investment standpoint, what does that look like when you're coming in as an investor then? What are the signals that you're looking for that's being paid attention to?
So essentially, one can easily call, a bluff of somebody who is coming in with a pitch deck, whether the guy is going to be serious about what, one wants to build, or, he's actually serious about what he wants to go about with things. I mean, it's very easy to basically, as I said, take money and burn it, but you have to be responsible and accountable for it, right?
If you don't have the processes in place that Arsney was talking about.
So it's basically a culmination of everything, that is being discussed here.
Okay.
And it's always a key man risk to invest in somebody who's just, wanting to go in by himself, because at the end of the day, you need people to run the show. You cannot do it by yourself.
Right.
And when you scale up, it is required to be so.
Yeah, I've always thought that the good venture investors, the kind that you want to be involved with, are providing more than just money, right? It's if you have just dumb money in your stack, then you're kind of wasting your time, right? If they can't bring you more than just that. So I think we've got a unique opportunity here to kind of talk about from somebody who's raised money as a developer and somebody who's investing in developers, what are the unlocks that you think an investor should provide? Arsney, what are you looking for an investor to give you beyond
They're fucking idiots. Seriously. I mean, semi. So I think the issue is investors are brilliant people, very, very good, but their focus is on a lot of portfolio companies. So my thing is like, and even if my guys hear this, it's like, okay, let's put it like this. If you have a specific questions, the investors will help out, but don't expect them to do your job. You have to ask the right questions, but don't, like this smart money concept, it doesn't really work. You got the money, spend it correctly, you're privileged to have that money. Spend it correctly.
So would it be fair to say that, I mean, you would think that they should be more reactive than proactive? They're not going to come in, find your problems, and fix
They're
them.
not going to be proactive.
Right.
I mean, imagine you have 100 portfolio companies. How are you going to be proactive unless you're on like an Adderall or whatever all day?
Sure.
Whatever that guy has in his pouch.
Yeah. But what can they do? I mean, are you looking for them to unlock introductions?
But this
or
is okay. So
connections,
I'm trying. This is a serious question that I have because I'm a semi-good game designer, but I'm not very good on like what is a cap table supposed to look like, all that kind of stuff. I would love for that piece to be proactive. On the introduction side, yes, of course. I mean, investors have huge networks, and any warm introductions, those are very useful. You got to use those, yeah. Should you look for the investors to do the intros for you? I don't think so. You should ask.
Right.
Again, so kind of my thesis is kind of the smart money investors, maybe they're just smart. That's it. Like, they have connections, but you got to do it. You got to do the work. You got to ask them. You got to ask for the intro. You got to do this. You got to do that. We have on our cap table, we have 3 angel investors, and I chat with them maybe once a quarter. But it's usually not about like operational advice. It's again like, do you know this person? Can you intro?
Right.
I think that's the thing. That's the truth. It's not that your investors are going to tell you how to run your company. If you get the money, you better know how to fucking run the company.
Yeah. Yeah. Amit, what do you think? What do you think investors ought to be providing to their portfolio beyond just writing a check?
So I think mentorship is key. You need to have the right set of mentors for a young team. It's very easy to go, haywire with, when the money comes in. But a mentor who basically has set in good amount of experience and has been on the boards of some of the best companies across, definitely basically holds the key. I've seen pitch decks where, we've had good amount of mentors backing them under the friends and family or the seed round, tend to basically grow better and go into, the late stage rounds and then probably getting into something big. So, and besides, what also happens is when you're in that ecosystem, essentially relationships is the key. You need to reach out to the right people because those right people will reach you out to the right relevant people as well. The key is relationships all over. I mean, if you don't have the right connects, I think you'll be stuck where you are.
I'm aware of some VCs that, maybe they do this in fact, but at least they represent themselves as we invest for synergies within our portfolio. Is that, and for me, I've never seen the rubber actually hit the road there. But for you, is that something that you think about when you're looking at your portfolio? Is, I've got a user acquisition, mediator over here. I've got a game developer over here. Maybe I can get some synergies of them working together.
So it's kind of like this. Like, if the portfolio companies suck, they suck. But imagine you have 2 competitors. One is a portfolio company, one is not. I'd probably want to work with a portfolio company. So we're with Play Ventures, and AppCharge is a Play Ventures company, and AppCharge does direct payments, which is really important now in mobile games. And like, those guys are kind of crazy, but Xola's kind of crazy too, and these guys are with Play, so the choice is go with Play.
Yeah.
And like I don't know if they work on, because the other thing is like if the investors are thinking about synergies from, okay, so we get original games, then we get this other company that'll sell to original games, that might be illegal. So I don't think they think like that. So imagine like you invest in both of us, and then like I sell to him. So
Right.
You're just making money off yourself. That's like
Yeah.
so I don't think the investors think about like that, but the synergies are natural because I just have access to those people.
Yeah.
And I can always complain to the partners like, hey, that guy sucks. Can you talk to him? I think that's what it's about. And there's a lot of value there.
And Amit, have you found that? I mean, have you invested with an eye to finding synergies between portfolio companies?
I completely agree to it because it is definitely relevant. There are other aspects, that also one has to look at. I mean, for example, the right business coming up, or the right company that one wants to invest in. Before you invest, how many companies have you rejected to come into that particular company? I think the ratio would be 100 to 1 because people have burned their fingers over time. And, as I said, easy access to money can also take people on a different trip as
Yeah.
such.
Yeah.
So it's definitely relevant, and synergies do matter.
Yeah. That's got to be hard to evaluate though when you're talking to founders that maybe this is their first rodeo, right? And they don't have a product history. They don't, this is the first raise that they've done. How difficult is it for you to vet those developers the way that you were talking about before around, can these guys actually run a business beyond just taking our check and...
You want to take it?
So I'll start it from the guy who raised money point of view.
Yeah.
You can give the guy who has money point of view.
I think, yeah.
So my point is like, I thought like our deck, like we raised 9 million, so it wasn't a small round, and like our deck, it was like there was 27 variations or whatever, and the first ones were like me specifically talking about internal ecosystem, and I think the VCs just fell asleep.
They didn't want to hear about it at that stage.
Because like that, it's like I'm gonna hire you because you know how to do that shit. But can you explain how we're gonna make money? And that's the piece that I wasn't so good at. So I think kind of my advice is like the piece of I know how to run a business, that has to be. You don't have to explain that.
It's a gut feeling actually.
But the thing is like, and I'll finish in a second. The point is like, if you're going to agree to buy a piece of my company, like, I shouldn't have to explain that piece to you. Probably the business model is more important.
Okay. And then from the perspective of the guy who has the money,
Yeah.
what do you think of it?
No. Essentially, as I said, the investor is smarter than the person giving you a pitch. He's basically seen losing money as well as, making money off you. So he's basically, and besides the, entire network that he is a part of, clearly understands, money is made, it's very hard to make money. It's very easy to lose money. So essentially, the guy cutting that check on you, is going to be always one up on you.
The way that I think about it, in the U.S. right now, you can make about a 5% annual return just putting that money in a savings account.
Yeah.
Right? That's not why you're in venture, right?
Of course.
You're looking for more substantial returns. You're understanding that you're going to have to take some risk, that you're going to have more failures than successes, but that the compounding of the successes is going to give you a much higher return overall.
That's correct. It's only basically some part of money which is burn money, which essentially the mindset is you might either lose it or you might compound it in multiples. So one doesn't really put all his eggs in one basket. Essentially, they have a core as well as a satellite. So core is where you basically don't mess around with that particular portfolio. Satellite portfolio is something where you can look at essentially taking some bit of risk, of course, with the expected returns as such. So that's the way about one goes about in terms of investments.
Okay. Tell me, for both of you as investor and investee, what are the deal structures that you're working with nowadays? Because in games, there's been a lot of variety for a while. Safes were the big thing, and people were doing that, or they were doing, pre-IPO investments. What kind of, are you just like traditional straight VC? What kind of exit timelines are you looking at?
Yeah. So I mean, I can't do the not the NDA shit, but like, the point is there's a couple. So yeah, we just did a direct like, just give me the money.
Just meat and potatoes. VC.
Yeah, give me the money. But it was like there was a couple things that as a simple game designer that doesn't know a lot of stuff about anything, we have a 5-year vesting, the founders, and I was like, what the fuck? But it's like, why would we agree to that? But the point is, we had 4 founders, and 2 of them left, and then we had quicker vesting. That would have been a huge problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's actually some of the expertise that normal investors would bring to the table, saying, hey, like, you should do this. Look, this sounds weird, but you should do that. I think all that kind of safe stuff, look, just like, if the thing works, it works. We also did a convertible as well. So, you get
like a debt equity?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. So we could always return it, for example. We could return it. I thought that was very good because we had an opportunity to acquire products, so the investors quickly gave us a convertible, and then we ended up selling the product, so then we just give them the money back.
Right. Okay. Do you guys look either in terms of selling shares or buying shares? Do you look at the secondary market at all?
I think you can't do that.
You can't do that?
Yeah, because it looks like you want to kind of take a little piece out.
Well, it depends. Sometimes you have founders looking for liquidity
That's
because
what I'm saying.
they're going to exit.
No, you have to tie them in.
It's not a good
because,
sign, I think.
It's basically, if the core founders are not there,
Yeah.
basically the entire ethos of that business is basically the founding team itself.
It's
So
a
you
red
tie
flag
them
by
in.
itself.
You don't buy them off.
It's a bit of a red flag. Yeah, it's like, I gotta support my second family, all this shit. Like, no, like,
If you're
keep that out.
If you're making widgets or wagons or you've got a factory or something, then secondary investment makes more sense than something like creative. And I think that's
So wait,
part.
so we should define what that is. So secondary is you're just selling your shares to someone else. Like, so I can sell a little bit of my shares so I can get some money and buy a PlayStation 5 or whatever. But that sounds weird because it feels like I've lost confidence in my business that I need to sell some shares.
Sometimes you have angels or pre-seed that comes in though, and their model is they might have a defined timeline. After 3 years, we're going to exit, and they might want to exit on the secondary.
So in that case, I'm talking about founders because we looked at it with my business partner. And, he needed to buy an apartment, whatever it was. But overall, I think it sent the wrong signal.
It does. For founders, absolutely.
Yes.
No, agreed. Okay.
I need a new car, a Mercedes.
I'm going to sell my shares because the car's worth more to me than my company.
The car's worth more than business.
Yeah. So we've seen capital is more scarce right now. Lots of layoffs, studio closures, things. And before we run out of time, I'd just like to get your read. Talk about your outlook on the industry overall right now. Are we back to growth? If not, when? Where's that growth going to come from?
So I think it is a systemic correction. Again, one of the earlier speakers spoke that it takes $200-300 million to make a AAA game. The moment it hits the market, whether it'll do well or tank, is a big question now. And the current generation, is excited to find something new and new every day. Right. So whether you're able to create new content or you're able to create new games is of question. So people are now basically cutting down on teams, costs and sizes, and of course AI is also coming and helping. Essentially, is going to make this model more scalable, I would say, in nature, because Gone are those days where you have larger, longer bets of $200-300 million. But look at some games which can range in between, say, $500,000 to maybe going up to maybe a couple of million. That is more like a scalability model and then a faster turnaround. If you're able to, sort of get that right, then you can always bet again on a winning horse because there is a likelihood that the guy might be able to do something better.
How about you, Arsney? Heat check on the industry overall.
So, I was just thinking, my friends at Bigger Games just raised 25 million Series A. No product, nothing.
Just on a design doc.
Just on having, he has a better mustache than me, whatever it is.
That must be a
that's clearly
nice mustache.
Better hairstyle, I guess.
Nothing. So
I would give you 9 for your mustache.
Okay, thank you. Out of 15. No, but so but Hakan and that team is brilliant, and I'm sure they have something really interesting coming together. So there's a couple signs that things are heating up. But the other thing is if you're doing a seed investment or even a pre-seed investment, that's like a 4-year journey. So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen tonight. We should check the schedule. But what I'm trying to say is you still have to make those bets. Phones are not going away, right? Maybe all this privacy stuff will go away. But we're seeing more and more kind of sparks of stuff happening. And I think the last thing I'll say is you look like a game like Balatro, which is just like a stupid digital poker game. Incredible. Great success.
One guy.
It's just a good game.
Just a good game, novel concept.
If you make good games, they make money. There it is. That's my 4th point.
At the end of the day, it's all about money.
Yeah. Okay. Good games make good money.
But I mean,
guys just make good games.
On that point, that's a serious point. Is sometimes my team is what should our day 7 retention? It's guys, just make it work. Make it good. Stop thinking about the numbers sometimes. Just make a good product. And I think that's what's going to keep the industry going.
Yeah. Think like the player, like the customer, right? So before Christopher gets the hook out and drags us off stage, do we have a minute for audience questions or?
Hello. Hey, yeah. Anybody want to ask some questions to the amazing successes that are on stages now? We got one.
I planted a question.
No, Mike. I got it. Coming in. Oh.
That was really loud. Arsney, what do you think about giving back to the community inside of the industry? Why is that important? And do you do that? And why?
So So the question is, do you give back? Should we give back to the community? I actually think that the responsibility of any business is to give back to its community somehow. So what does that mean? So we have an office in Portugal. We have and we're remote, and we have an office in Portugal. So I like to do. I was going to say I like to do happy hours at the office, but what we do is have meetups in our office for the local community. That also includes free beer, just to get people to talk to each other. And I think that's the responsibility of any business is to kind of give back to its community. So yeah, there it is. We should do it. We should do that. It's very cheap, $100. That's it.
That's a good point.
Cheap.
All right. Hey, thank you both very much for this perspective.
Thank you, guys. You guys are wonderful. This is a wonderful country.
Give them love. Yes.
Yes.